Welcome back to Hearthstone Grandmasters for Europe. I misspoke as we were heading to a break. We're heading into our fourth match of the day between Swidz and SilverName. Glento versus Viper is coming up right after that. I'm Nathan, that's Admirals More, joined by America's Grandmaster, Edward Gallon Goodwin. And you got to play later on today. And woo, we're already having a marathon of a day here today, coming off that big Game 3, the Warrior Mirror match between Tyson Orange.
Tiring, but really fun to cast and watch.
Whew, I loved it.
It was just so cool to see all the minor optimizations. But, I mean, now we have Swidz versus SilverName, and honestly, Swidz has to pick it up a little bit.
Yes, he sits at 4-7 in the bracket right now, and he's got some work to do where that record is concerned, because right now it's a three-way tie at that bottom position for the relegation that's coming in. And so he has to start winning matches if he's going to get it done. This particular match, pretty straightforward on the pick and bans, you know, with the protection that's in there. Both players protected their priest, making it ineligible to be banned. And then it was Druid banned away from Swidz, and it was Druid banned away from SilverName as well.
This is what I love to see. They both protected priest. Game 1, Swidz is starting with priest. SilverName is starting with priest. Fantastic Hearthstone. Love to see it.
The Gallon, as
I think I've started priest first like 6 or 7 matches in a row now. Some of them were just random. Some of them were figured my opponent might think I wouldn't start priest.
But you won't say which one was which.
No. I just keep pressing the number until it comes up as priest.
You're like, I'm just going to random until it gets priest.
Yeah.
Pseudo-random, as you might call it. Very volatile matchup between the two of them. SilverName doesn't start with a 1-drop.
Which pretty much cedes tempo over to Swidz. And that is not what you want to do in the Priest Mirror. Not having a 1-drop is one of the first like large errors that you can have in the matchup. And it's not even an error.
You mean?
It's not. Yeah. Well, it's almost such a big detriment that I'd call it an error. Honestly, it's not to the fault of SilverName. Obviously, like he was mulliganing for them. It's so quick of a matchup where whoever has the first thing often also has the second and the third and the fourth thing.
There's not really a comeback mechanism in Priest. And it is meant to snowball the board extremely aggressively and go from there.
And look what happens here. Swidz can just go Power Word Shield Inner Fire.
Beaming Sidekick.
Beaming Sidekick Inner Fire, and that's the second and the third thing.
Yep. You do not have recovery tools. Your decisions are high impact.
High impact for sure.
And it snowballs very quickly.
The third and the fourth things. Just to simplify.
Yeah. It's extremely magnified in the early turns.
One of the benefits of putting an Inner Fire on a Injured Tol'Vir and Divine Spirits on your Injured Tol'Vir is that a way to answer it is silence from your opponent. Injured Tol'Vir's stat line is already very big, so if they silence it down, they actually just get a 2-5 or a 2-6 out of it.
Hey, I got you, friend.
The decision point was between Power Word Shield and Beaming Sidekick.
Yeah, SilverName did not look happy.
Well, yeah. There's a 5-3 in play. It's Swidz' turn 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy either. How are they just going to attack me with King Mukla on turn 2? All right.
With charge and no bananas.
Just what the heck? I at least want the bananas.
Well, then you'd have an opportunity to slip up.
Hey.
Yep. This is no.
It's I don't know what to do. In this position, it's
Cry?
like goodness.
You can't cry. You gotta play.
I guess one of the big things to talk about here is this is how important 1-cost minions are to the deck.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Mulligan aggressively for them.
I mean, looking at this game, SilverName would have been able to protect it.
The best bet right now is to try to keep that injured Tol'Vir at bay in any way that you can.
SilverName could always draw. He can't even clear it with a 3-spell Wild Pyromancer. The Circle of Healing just will not accomplish that. So it's not going to happen next turn. It's going to be the turn afterwards.
You're looking for like Northshire Cleric.
Yeah, Northshire Cleric seems
So preserve the Wild Pyro. Try to keep the health of the Tolvir at bay. Sacrifice resources in the meantime is what that means.
Sounds good.
If Northshire doesn't show up, so be it.
Swidz has to commit to healing the injured Tolvir if you play a 2-3.
I wonder.
He doesn't just get a value trade and ignore the fact that it dies to a Wild Pyromancer.
In the light.
That being said, he kind of wants to heal it anyways. I don't think it's like it's not saying, I gotta heal my injured Tolvir here.
Well, it's just a checklist of things. Like, he can't ignore board. He's not free to push damage.
It limits the options, for sure.
This is a card advantage mechanism right now.
The injured Tolvir is.
Right.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Nefus Rituals for a second. That's a River Croc.
Yeah, the Ritualist is a sacrifice.
One of the funny things about the Priest Mirror is that when there's a Light Warden in play for your opponent, healing does nada.
Does nothing.
Oftentimes, it's just
well
actively bad.
It does something, just not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For one turn, it does nothing, and then, wow, it gets out of control very quickly.
I think SilverName's considering Wild Pyro Circle and then play the Inner Fire. It's a pretty interesting spot, but I don't think it works. I don't think it works so well because of the injured Tolvir.
It also buffs the Light Warden into range where it just kills the injured Tolvir, so playing the Inner Fire on it doesn't accomplish.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to circle, it means the Tolvir is buffed. You don't have an Inner Fire.
Sure. You can go Wild Pyromancer, injured Tolvir, circle. Oh, it doesn't really work. Yeah, I apologize. You're right. I was looking at it with 1 extra mana, and if you have 1 extra mana, it's actually a pretty good play. Admirable, you're pretty smart. Smart cookie.
I'm just... they start thinking, so I start thinking. If they're not thinking, I don't think.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Put myself in the place of the player.
Good rule.
So that way I can help the viewer get into the place of the player. Procasting tips.
I feel like that's a little bit targeted. To anyone out there.
Yeah, any aspiring caster.
Fair enough.
If you're an aspiring player, pay very close attention to what Swidz is doing. You got this. You're in the clear. You are good to go. You got the game on lock. Blow up their stuff. Attack them in the face. Classic.
Stellar. Silence picked up. Your Swidz is 1 Inner Fire away from just locking out this game. Even without the Inner Fire, you're in a terrible spot. You can't even Wild Pyromancer Circle of Healing anymore because it's just going to draw cards for Swidz.
Well, perhaps there's one situation where you can win. I'm thinking exactly Swidz plays a second Northshire Cleric.
He just healed his face, Admirable.
I'm thinking that SilverName draws a Northshire Cleric.
He just healed his face with a Light Warden in play, Admirable.
And is able to chain off with Circle of Healings. That's it. Do you think anything else right now matters? Do you think any decisions that SilverName's going to do right now?
You're right. They don't matter. There's only one thing that matters.
I think the heal in the face actually makes it more likely that Swidz could play a second Northshire Cleric by kind of laughing at the idea that you healed yourself in the face while he had a Light Warden in play.
Oh, so it's just brilliant.
If anything, I think it's kind of clever. Swidz even offered the Northshire Cleric. He's not going to take the bait.
I got you, friend.
11 damage.
The end begins.
Psycho Pom Pom just cheering for the wrong team here.
Game 1 to Swidz.
Pretty convincing. SilverName didn't have the 1-drop, couldn't get the board early enough to contest what Swidz had to do.
Ball game.
Swidz capitalizes on that immediately with a Beaming Psychic inner Fire. Runs away with the game from there.
Tempo good.
Story as old as time and Priest Mirrors.
Priest Mirrors are extremely volatile.
Is volatile the word that you should use? I feel like...
What word would you use?
I guess volatile.
What's a synonym for volatile?
The decisions are more important than other games. Like in the Control Warrior Mirror, the decisions that we were talking about were like these minor things.
Paramount.
Yes.
Paramount decisions.
Yep.
I agree.
Lots of weight.
It's very powerful, but at the same time, sometimes you don't have the option.
I guess you could argue that there's going to be less decisions overall, which means it's more volatile.
Well, that kind of would be, paramount impact on the decisions as well.
Yeah.
Just a tough game. It's
Hard
one
to
of the
think
reasons
about.
why the deck is so powerful,
Yeah.
is that, it carries a lot of weight in the mulligan. There's a lot of tiny little things to do, but those tiny little things yield colossal differences in the matchup. And so now for Swidz, he has Beast Hunter and Shaman left to battle with, and for SilverName, the full lineup. And the Beast Hunter from Swidz was particularly interesting. I spent quite a bit of time on that deck this week because I had a big question mark above it for myself personally. After battling with it for a bit, there is some pretty good matchups that it typically has. The two that I'm looking at specifically, you and I had practiced this, the Quest Shaman for SilverName and the Bomb Warrior that was in the lineup for SilverName as well. And so that to me is like one of the more interesting dynamics here, is that, once we get past a game with Priest for SilverName, if he's able to get past that, that Hunter becomes very powerful against what SilverName has left.
I think Swidz kind of nailed it here with the mid-range Hunter bring. Against what SilverName brought, we did test this a lot. Priest pretty handily beats mid-range Hunter. It felt like it just always had the answer to Scavenging Hyena. That felt like the most important decision point, and then you just run out of tools. But against SilverName's Bond Warrior, which doesn't include Shield Slam, you're just going to run away with the game so often. Unlike Control Warrior, which has a lot of tools from removing the mid-range Hunter's early tempo, SilverName is just trying to fight for board, and that is what mid-range Hunter likes to see.
Yeah.
That's how it capitalizes. Scavenging Hyena actively wants your opponent to have things in play. SilverName also doesn't have Shield Slam in his Bomb Warrior list, which is another way to check Scavenging Hyena. It's not there. Scavenging Hyena is just getting, it's not getting checked.
It's not. And I think the lack of Shield Slam in SilverName's Bomb Warrior, he's gone with a very aggressive package that's packed into that, is a pretty major impact of the matchup. The fact that from the perspective of Swidz Beast Hunter, when you and I were playing, I felt like I was free to just turn after turn, kill a thing and make a thing. Kill a thing and make a thing. I never felt like that was going to get pushed back at because there was no Shield Slam.
You actually you prepared with Sottle against Quest Shaman with mid-range Hunter. How do you feel about that matchup?
Oh, super Hunter favored. That's what it felt like to me. I had 3 different openings in the first 3 games, and every single one of them felt good. And so one of the things I look at is just how powerful Desert Spear is versus Shaman. In this particular matchup, I will say I'm pretty surprised by the Desert Spear keep from Swidz. I found that having Timberwolf and having Spring Paw in combination with Scavenging Hyena felt like I had a chance.
That makes sense to me. Swidz hand is... I think there's lots of good cards in here, but they're not reactive cards. They're cards that are good when you have an off turn or your opponent has an off turn. Master's Call, for example, it's a very good value tool. Against Priest, value isn't really what you need. That being said, Deadly Shot is a very decent removal tool for against Priest's all-in game plan. I don't know, though. SilverName's hand is one of the best anti-Hunter hands I've ever seen. He just has big things that he keeps playing every single turn. If Swidz checks this Injured Tol'Vir, Injured Blade Master comes down. He checks that Psychopomp comes down, reviving possibly one of the best minions in the game up to this point.
Yeah, I'm looking at that Psychopomp with the 2-3 curve that he has as being pretty much the major point of the game.
What's really interesting about Injured Tol'Vir, Injured Blade Master Psychopomp is that it has been lackluster for how powerful it is to me in a lot of matchups. It feels like in Priest, like when you're playing the Mirror, they can respond with something that's just more powerful than this very high tempo play. But against Midrange Hunter, I don't think it's really a deck that actually accomplishes that well. It fights for board, but it fights for board in a fair way. When you're playing Psychopomp and getting a 4-7 with Reborn or a 2-6 with Reborn, that isn't something they're equipped to deal with.
I think it's an excellent point.
In this matchup specifically, I think it is quite powerful.
I think that's one of the reasons that Priest ended up being so powerful too, is that it just has a tool to battle against the decks that try to check it in a fair way. And when they try to check you in a fair way, you Psychopomp out a big taunt or a big body, and they're like, oh, well, back to square one.
Guess I'll lose.
Yeah, guess I'll die.
Yeah. Swidz still has a lot of game plan. One of the cards that's actually very good versus Psychopomp with Reborn is Desert Spear. You kill the 3-1, and if you get a Deadly Shot off, you can also kill the X1 that spawns.
I
Yeah.
got you, friend.
So I'm thinking SilverName is considering here as well, is what a Deadly Shot looks like against him. So you add a 1/2 to board to try to offset that. Make Swidz go back to Battle and Fair again.
I'd be very surprised if Swidz Deadly Shotted here.
I don't think he can. You know, I think Swidz with a Hunter in this game in case SilverName had a divergence from Priest.
Well, there's kind of this mentality of if you let a deck that loses to Midrange Hunter through, you could be in a really bad scenario. So if Swidz thinks that he just has 100% win rate versus the other two decks, and you made it sound like Quest Shaman
Or just favorable.
Yeah, just really favorable. What you can do is just guarantee that that never happens by queuing Midrange Hunter first. Based on the matchup versus Shaman that you were explaining to me, and based on my own experience playing Bomb Warrior versus Midrange Hunter, it felt like they were very favorable matches for Swidz. So Swidz just is going to not let that happen.
Spring Paw pickup. So keep chipping away with the Desert Spear. I now see the purpose of the Desert Spear. It was simply to keep minions at bay, I think. Okay.
That was a good track.
I am interested in that because it's directly into the Psychopomp turn. I guess you're just not beating Psychopomp is what it boils down to, so...
Yeah, that's
Roll the Deadly Shot.
that's rough.
Roll the Deadly Shot.
Roll the Deadly Shot. I agree.
You got a 33% chance to pick off
You're
this
fine.
board.
Yeah, it's
This is fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Honestly, there's a lot of spots where if you had 33% to beat Priest after this kind of start, you'd be slamming that button as quickly as possible.
With most of the weird decks I build, if I'm 33% just to beat Priest, I'm delighted.
Yeah. Now, we're in a 33% here to just stay in the game.
I think he's in a pretty good spot if he rolls the Deadly Shot. Like, you know, looking at SilverName's hand, you're not thinking that. But from Swidz's perspective, I think that you're feeling okay about it.
Sure.
And so the alternative to that would be build a big Scavenging Hyena.
How big, though? Because you can kill 2...
+3?
You can get 2 in, right? Not
Oh,
sure.
no, you're right. You're right. Oh, goodness.
So it would just die to the 3-1 and the 1-1. I'm with you on this whole ripping the Deadly Shot, trying to go for the 33%. At some point in Hearthstone, you got to just take yucky plays because it's your best way to win. Deadly Shot was yucky. This looks way yuckier for me.
Everything looks yucky.
Ugh. Deadly Shot killing the 2-6 was...
Ah, interesting. Yeah,
not-
you know, look, 1 out of 3, I'll take those.
Yeah, I do agree with myself.
That is exactly what I just said. Oh, I am dumb. What are the benefits to not playing Ahmet here?
Well, my question is, what are the benefits of just leaving up the 6-4 Scavenging Hyena?
None.
That's not true.
I dislike it.
I understand. I'm just saying that you can play around. You can play around a Deadly Shot very well.
Leaving up a Scavenging Hyena is a great way to ensure that you die sometimes.
Sure. Sure. Not gonna disagree there. Okay. You got me on that one, but like, you see, even SilverName agrees. He's gonna deviate away from it.
I'm okay with moving away from it. I was curious about the benefits of Ahmet versus the Blade Master. Healthier minions or happier minions?
Very true. Wise words from SilverName.
Yeah, this was the common problem I found myself in. If I drew any clunky cards, just didn't work. You just need not clunky cards.
There's worlds where they just have a terrible hand. The Deadly Shot fights for tempo well enough that it gets you out of it. If you Deadly Shot killed the 4-3, you're getting out of it a lot of the time.
By time.
Yeah.
Just keep chipping away. You have an Unleash the Beast on deck. Perhaps that gets some work done. I have bad news, though.
That is...
However, you know, is SilverName interested in continuing to play around, you know, Deadly Shot possibilities?
He just saw one.
Sure, but, you know, your hand's starting to get a bit thin. I'm thinking I want to kill this 1-1. Beaming Sidekick seems very appealing to me.
Yeah, 1-7, that makes it 2-9.
Hey,
Yep.
I got you, friend.
Sets up lethal, I believe, if he doesn't answer any of this stuff.
I count 23. Oh, 2 interfires. Oh, my goodness. That just parsed as 1 in my head the entire game.
It's 2.
I wonder.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's way diff.
This might just be it here. Oh, Spring Ball picked up for Swidz.
Check 4 of the damage.
You're technically 1 off from SilverName's perspective.
18 plus 7.
It's 25.
I move quickly.
Interesting that he played an extra 1-1 here. I guess you just need to have stuff in play. Yeah, you just need to have stuff in
He's
play.
super hurting. Like, you know that either way this goes, you're getting beat down.
Oh. Ow.
Sure.
You could put him to 1, but it just...
Honestly, the 1 cost that he's drawing doesn't even matter. It could
doesn't
just be a
matter.
War Golem.
War Golem won SilverName's game.
It looked fine here.
You know, they had a War Golem before in Shaman, but it wasn't really a War Golem. It was Neptulon. I think it was 7 mana.
Oh, yeah, it was
four-
an even worse War Golem because you overloaded for 4.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's great if you had 6 Tunnel Trogs in play, though.
Wow, that's just like a better Bloodlust. You can't answer any of these minions. You can answer the 1/6.
Solid.
That's... Technically, though, isn't he still alive?
Look,
If he kills the 1/6, isn't he still alive? Is he still alive here?
Heal up the Sidekick to 7. 14 plus 7, 21, 22, 23. Hey, you're alive by 1. Well, I'll be.
No, aren't you dead?
I must consider.
Because there's a 2/1 in play. You can heal it up to 7.
How do you heal the 2-1 up to 7?
The 1/6. The 1/6. The 1/6
Yeah.
goes to 7. You
Goes
Divine
to-
Spirit Interfire. It's 21. 21 plus
2.
is 23. Oh, you're right. Smart.
I think I want to draw here if I'm SilverName. I want to try to close.
Must
Yeah.
Consider.
For some reason, you know what? I thought he was at 22. That's why I did the math. And it was bad.
Interesting.
Quickly.
As he still has such a
Okay, so he's
commanding
completely
lead on the
diverting
board.
away. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think this is smart.
In the light.
We've seen this a lot. SilverName's just doing the tried and true method of literally play 50 mana worth of stuff. It doesn't matter that they didn't die this turn. They are dead.
Both Timberwolves are gone.
They're
At least
dead.
the Hounds doesn't do anything.
They're dead.
Both Timberwolves are gone.
Absolutely dead.
The one fear would literally, I think, be Timberwolf and Unleash with a second Unleash. But there's no more Timberwolves.
Does that doesn't even do it, right? You got to
I
put 3
probably
into the
would.
2/5. Well, you technically get 1 extra.
24 attack is what you'll end up with.
25, because you got to play an Unleash first and then trade into the 2/5, then play the Timberwolf.
Oh, you're so smart.
But once you start killing minions off, you start getting less things in play.
The odd health is what's kind of weird for it. So 1, 2, 3.
No, you could still get a full board. You could get
Yeah, you
25
still can.
attack worth. Anyways, doesn't matter here.
Yeah. It's just the point I'm getting at is SilverName has recognized the spot. And I want to give recognition where recognition's due.
Absolutely.
Said, you know what? Unleash doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't have any Timberwolves. Got him. Just trying to figure. He's like, all right,
That's
enough.
fantastic. Yeah. Why not another Divine Spirit?
Honestly, I don't disagree with Swidz. I would have stopped wasting my brain power. You still got another game to play, bud.
It takes like 3 clicks to hit the concede button. That's a lot of clicks. It only takes 1 hit pass.
SilverName gets a pre-swin under his belt, takes the board early, keeps the board for the rest of the game. And so now SilverName, Shaman and Druid remaining on his side. I'm sorry, Shaman and Warrior remaining on his side. Druid is banned in this series on both sides.
I think this is where it's going to be Swidz's advantage. You know,
This is
why,
the idea of the lineup.
This is why he queued mid-range hunter as well against the priest. It's because he does not want SilverName to get either of these decks through.
Yeah.
He knows that he is very, very favored, I would say, as mid-range hunter versus Shaman and Warrior.
Take the disadvantage matchup. Do
doesn't have
not
the
give
tools.
them an opportunity to trick you.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh, I'm gonna
Don't
queue up a
outthink
different-
yourself.
I'm gonna
Just
queue up a different deck here and try to sneak through a win at a better. And then they just queue priest or like a warrior instead of priest. And you're like, oh, what did I do? Like that would be the nightmare scenario. Take the bad matchup in game 2, get to game 3 with the favorable. That's the whole goal of the
makes
lineup.
a lot of sense, and that's what we're going to see. I mean, getting the win game 1, I think, was crucial for Swidz in this spot, even though he lost game 2. So I wonder from SilverName's perspective. I'm sure he's played this a bit. I'd imagine that he queues Quest Shaman instead of Bomb Warrior, but that's only because Bomb Warrior felt so brutally bad for me.
Yeah,
that
the Shaman matchup I think is worse. No one has ever beaten a Desert Spear with Shaman, and I mean literally ever. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. If you thought you did it, you were having a lucid dream. Desert Spear is impossible to defeat with Quest
I do want
Shaman.
to say one thing. SilverName does have an Earthshock. It is a way to get a Scavenging Hyena early.
Don't worry about the hyena.
Sometimes, okay, I'm just trying to say the positives here, okay? Sometimes they don't even have a Scavenging Hyena. Use Bomb Warrior.
It's also just been one of SilverName's, most played decks. He keeps bringing Bomb Warrior and he keeps playing it.
Yeah. I think last season when he started bringing Bomb Warrior was actually when like the switch flipped.
Yeah.
In SilverName's design.
Your words the flip.
Yeah, of course. It's a flip up. And how I talk. Anyways,
I think Bomb Warrior is the better of the two matchups as well.
When he first started bringing Bomb Warrior, I think that's really when he was getting up crucial victories.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, he's talked at length in his media pieces, and one of the things that he said is that he feels stronger in control games. And I think in this matchup, he is the control deck to a certain degree.
Another very important thing in this matchup is 1-drops. SilverName finds his. It felt like the games that when we were playtesting, no 1-drop felt miserable.
Disaster.
Now, that doesn't mean that he's out of the woods at all. It just means that he can contest a lot of the early stuff that Swidz has.
Yeah, it was just like, imagine, for instance, this Town Crier or Eternium Rover or whatever have you was not there. It means that Henge Clan Hogsteed just chips away and keeps the armor contained.
Suddenly, your Restless Mummy just has to trade into a 2-1. There's a 1-1 left afterwards.
Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling. Whoa.
Quickly.
Fight for board.
Whoa.
Fight for board.
Disagree. You're against Bomb Warrior.
This place is scary.
Dire Frenzying that can be really important.
I agree with that.
I am scared.
Swidz also only has 1 copy of Vicious Scalehide in his deck, by the way.
That is weird to me.
Would you have preferred a Henge Clan Hogseed instead?
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
I think I want to Dire Frenzy the Vicious Scalehide and fight off bombs.
You've got a Master's Call in your hand. You can play for value. You need a Vicious Scalehide to stay alive.
Sometimes, yeah.
Now, to be fair, that only matters when the Bomb Warrior gets very far ahead on board, where that actually is like a game plan that the bomb or the mid-range hunter takes. It felt like when we were playtesting it that the Bomb Warrior just never got ahead on board.
That could very well be the case without Shield Slam in the matchup. However, I think that saving that tool in your hand in case something like that comes up can be really important.
Sure.
So, I admit that's a bit of an overreaction. However,
It would be really funny
if he needs that Scrap Hound later,
I'm just going to say, if he picks
I'm
up a
gonna be
Dire
upset.
Frenzy right now...
oh,
and
that would
gets-
just be sick. Boom. Nope.
No.
That would have been super sick, actually, though.
Yeah. That would have been nuts.
To my side.
Oh, Timberwolf could come out here. Protects a lot of stuff. Stops the Dynamatic from full clearing your board. Gives you 3 extra life. Protects your Leok, most likely. I'm saying it like this with like a concerned voice.
Why?
Because I really want him to play a Timberwolf.
Well, if he's going to point the Spirit Face, I think
Thank you.
you know what's coming.
Yes.
Gallant would push the 1.
Absolutely.
It's not even a question.
Didn't doubt Swidz for a second.
Nope, definitely didn't. Definitely didn't doubt him. Gallant knew that's exactly what he was going to do.
He did it.
Not nervous at all. I wasn't nervous.
Now I'm chilling.
I am a bit nervous still about the Scale Hide, but
I mean, the Dynamatic is still pretty amazing here.
Job's done.
imagine not playing Dynamatic. Sound the horns.
Yes, the extra 1/1. How important do you feel the Tundra Rhino combo at the end of the game was against Bomb Warrior?
I think it's contextual, right? Like,
Like everything in Hearthstone.
if you're in like a strange value battle, which I think can realistically happen, probably pretty vital. You're using your tools in a way to try to manipulate your opponent's momentum. What that means is you're slowly chipping away, and that burst damage becomes more vital. If you're in a matchup where you're taking the lead and being pretty aggressive, like that is an opportunity, I think, to use Tundra Rhino to force your opponent to react. So the question is, how important would be forcing your opponent to react, and what kind of fight am I having right now?
For example, do you think there would ever be a world where Swidz just plays a Tundra Rhino offensively, just to play a 3/5 here?
I think it depends on what SilverName does.
Absolutely.
I think the more minions of Swidz that die, the more likely he is to play Timberwolf. I'm
I
sorry,
felt-
to play Tundra Rhino.
It's always felt to me like Warpath was one of the pretty crucial resources in the matchup.
I think you just can't get chipped away that much. No shield blocks in the deck for SilverName either.
But giving up the Warpath means that you can get chipped away way more easily.
Yeah, I'm looking at the hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
From it's literally all chip damage. First of all, okay. let's talk about that. Okay, Springpaw. His name is Chip. Okay. It's been Chip for like 4 generations in their family. He's Chip the 4th. Tundra Rhino that deals 2 damage. That's pretty much Chip as well. That's like the in-law.
Springpaw begets Chip the 5th. Henge Clanogsteed begets Mini Chip.
They're a chipper bunch of people.
It's very chipper. All right, Papa Chip's going to come down. See what I mean? More minions die, more likely Tundra Rhino.
Makes sense to me.
Now force reaction.
SilverName is actually looking in a pretty fantastic spot so far this game.
Well, his hand is stacked.
One thing that I will say is that SilverName or Swidz had one of the weakest starts possible. His game plan was a 1-3 on turn 2 into a Desert Spear on turn 3. Now, Desert Spear isn't a terrible card. It's just, it's not immediate tempo.
Yeah, you're looking for ways to generate value, and so Swidz, he's trying to avoid using the tracking for a while, but there are certain points where it's pretty necessary to do it. Here, picking up Unleash the Beast would have, pretty much been his prime play, and so he feels compelled to use the tracking that spot. SilverName reacts to the second Master's Call, and Swidz has a lot of tools to fight with. Some of the more important tools as you reach these stage, I found, were Unleash the Beast and Marked Shot. Those felt like two very important cards to just keep your removal churning, because that's what you're going to run into as you just continue to poke away for damage. Having removal that can represent itself was super important.
Yeah, Unleash the Beast, again, like you mentioned, I think is pretty crucial, not only because it's just a thing to play, but also because you get it off of Zul'jin. And Bomb Warrior is not like Control Warrior. Bomb Warrior is a deck that at some point it's going to need to fight for board to win the game.
Yeah.
Control Warrior can take its time, it can just remove everything, and you're just going to die in fatigue. Bomb Warrior needs to actually kill you. What that means is it packs less removal, which means Zul'jin summoning 5/5s often doesn't get checked. Having Unleash the Beast in the Zul'jin pool is very crucial.
Time to giddy up.
One thing I will say is I don't really like Dire Frenzying before a Zul'jin appears in hand. It means that the likelihood that you draw it is less.
But the likelihood that you draw the big minion is more.
The medium minion.
I wonder.
Yeah, okay.
And the big stuff is good, better than the medium stuff when it's the late game.
Excellent point.
Yeah. We're talking about simplifying stuff.
Quickly.
Yeah, that is a scary scavenging hyena. Push the 2. Push the other 2.
Holds back the weapon. Minor decision point, but I think it could end up really mattering.
I think that's likely to prompt this other Restless Mummy. However, SilverName, I think, is looking for a tempo. Your opponent just used a lot of stuff. Can you capitalize? Tomb Warden in hand.
What
I feel like I want to try to clear this out and secure a Tomb Warden to start pressuring.
You have... I'm looking at... Restless Mummy has to kill the hyena, like you said.
I kind of want a Warpath.
What about Wrench Calibering the Timberwolf?
I'm okay with that.
It seems like it keeps the more important resource in hand and also develops a weapon.
Yeah, it'll shrink down to a 1/1 on the middle minion. Start shuffling bombs into the deck.
Yeah.
Maybe draw Blastmaster Boom.
Blastmaster Boom can be actively bad for SilverName just because of Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah.
Swidz runs 2 copies of Unleash the Hounds, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Now that is a good pickup.
Oh, boy. Bootleg Blessing of Kings.
Just push some damage face. Why not?
So, you remember the classic rule, your minion lives, kill opponent's minions, attack face? There is a follow-up to that, which is, opponent has no minions. Buff them and attack face.
Ah. Did you ever watch Trump's teachings?
Of course.
When I was a total noob at this game, I always watched
Hearthstone
those.
Trump, of course.
Yes, Hearthstone Trump. There's lots of little stuff like that you talk about. It's interesting. Just brings back some memories.
All right, well, the Tomb Warden's not coming down. Yeah, I'm pretty afraid for SilverName now. Like, Swidz has just got a strong hand. Not a lot loaded up into the Zul'jin. Like, that's pretty important to know right now.
Tempo-wise, in the immediacy, not a huge tempo swing, but it has double Master's Call, double tracking. So,
yeah.
one thing to keep in mind, is it'll probably put Swidz into fatigue. Or very close to it. You're drawing like 8 cards from the Zul'jin.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that really matters. He's putting enough pressure on SilverName already that the 5 or so extra turns that SilverName gets just aren't going to happen.
You're just pressuring too much.
Yeah.
Like you have won the attrition battle at that point. Continue full steam ahead.
I mean, look at SilverName's hand. Stuff like Clockwork Goblin here is just... Again, it's not a reactive tool. Wrench Caliber is barely a reactive tool, I would say.
Maybe that means you have to play the 2 more than then.
Swidz can just ignore playing the Zul'jin now. I think he just picked up a 4/4.
Oh boy, those
Wow.
are, if they're in the deck, the locusts are buffed.
Just take another off turn. Play for tempo. I love it. Baited arrow.
It's insane.
Well, yeah, because you can play a locust alongside of it.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's just
like
nuts.
It's like ideal.
SilverName has to brawl. Swidz just follows up with Zul'jin. It's like, all right, where's your second brawl? I'm a little bit confused. Wait, does Swidz just have lethal?
Oh, does he?
Well,
Wait,
if he's
no.
kill commanding a 4/7. He's one
Does he have
off.
follow-up lethal?
He's 1 off.
Ah, he's pushing 9. Okay. It's far superior.
You know what?
Far superior. Kill minions, go
Seems
face.
good.
Kill minions, go face.
Yeah, just throw in a kill command as well. Why not? The answer is because you could just hero power and do the same amount of damage. But you got a Zul'jin loaded up. Sometimes that kill command hits them in the face. Yeah.
I had a kill commanded. Fine Ziliax time.
Omega Assembly Warpath Ziliax with a Turning Rover.
I was thinking Vicious Scrap Hound, Ziliax, and then what's the biggest thing you can attach to those 2?
Hey, that's not bad. It keeps you alive. You can go Turning Rover Warpath Dynamatic. You're alive at 1. I think that makes sense for SilverName because it's a guaranteed way to get back in the game. Your opponent only has 1 card. If it's not Zul'jin, you could easily win. You saw a kill command.
SilverName's going to be very upset.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This as well, you can just get
Yeah,
more
I want
armor
the
this
full
way.
armor. Yeah.
Yep, makes sense. Dynamatic also work. This is better. And
Oh, he's going to be super upset.
gosh.
I don't blame him.
Here comes the bigger.
SilverName, I'm sorry. It is very entertaining to watch, though. I really, really want him to win because he plays so well. But, goodness. Just, his reactions to stuff are just pure.
Remember, there's a mark shot. There's a mark shot. There's a mark shot.
Ah, true.
Yeah. There's 1 bomb in Swizz's deck. We don't know because it could have been tracked over, correct?
If the tracking from Zul'jin had tracked over it, that is a possibility that it's gone.
Yeah.
However, there's 2 things in play right now. One, Hecklebot doesn't pull a minion from Swid's deck.
So it's just a 3/8 with taunt.
Yeah,
That seems good.
seems very good. So now, how do you kill him?
Augmented Clockwork Goblin, say go.
Kind of want to swing the Wrench Caliber too. You know why? Because if I draw another
Say
one, I
go.
need to get going.
Yeah.
So the question is, how valuable is the armor? Because you know that Swidz has a copy of Rapid Fire in hand. You know that there's a marked shot.
It means that kill command will kill you.
Means a kill command will kill you. So that's the question for SilverName. How do you most apply pressure while at the same time mitigate the opposing outcomes?
So you don't know about the mark shot specifically. You know that there's a random spell that could be mark shot.
Well, the rapid shot.
Yes.
You know that the twin spelled second half is
yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a tough question.
3 mana deal 13 sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, my instinct is the Clockwork Goblin because you just need to get moving.
How else are you going to win?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Swidz does not look... He looks nervous about it now.
Swidz just has a wealth of options here, and they're all good. He can fight. He can keep fighting for board for years at this point.
Well, I don't think it's about a fight for board. I think it's about a race against the bombs.
I don't think the bombs are really that scary.
You don't really lose any other way.
Okay, that's fair. But SilverName is just like so unlikely to win from this spot that
I don't know about you, Gallon, because being a competitor, it's very different. But for me personally, when the only way I can lose is like this very long shot outcome, it scares me to death.
it depends, right? It really depends. If it's something that you can control, Wing Blast found is like the best thing
good.
that he could have found. You just play 2 4/4s here and golly. Anyways, if it's something that you can't control, then don't worry about it. If it's something that you can control, then sure. Worry about it
Easier said than done.
to your wit's end.
Pair of Dynamatics.
That's so good.
Pair of Dynamatics. He can draw Ziliax next turn and actually do something.
Bomb Warrior doing something. That's crazy.
He's been on the back foot the entire game.
That's so good.
This is like the first turn he might actually be able to grab initiative.
And it's insane initiative. That being said, remember that there could always still be a kill command in Swidz's deck. Unleash the Beast is going to come out, and it's going to make the bomb outcome.
I think it's fine. Unleash the Beast hits, you could Dynamatic it right back.
Sure. Tracking. Do you track here?
Well, I'm going to use Dire Frenzy here because it's big. But this is accounted for with the
very
Dynamatic.
fair. That's very fair.
So for SilverName, what's the best draw then? I'm very interested in getting the Snip Snap down.
You need to play around the Unleash the Beast, right?
I'm very interested.
Otherwise, the 5/2 will just run over it.
I'm thinking
There'll be 5 in play.
Yeah, smart. You need exactly Ziliax. Perhaps Dr. Boom, Mad Genius can
Maybe
do it.
2 Morden does it.
Maybe 2 more than 2. Oh, 8/8 rush drawn. It's so large, it's just a mountain giant with rush.
It really is. If you're tracking, you're doing it.
Another 8/8 with rush.
Can I tell you something that's really funny?
He took Unleash.
That is weird.
It's for the Snip Snap tokens.
But couldn't he have just rapid fire hero?
That's what I'm thinking.
What just happened?
Swidz is playing kind of sloppy this game.
I'm gonna say this was bad.
Yeah.
This is bad. You could have had an 8/8 with rush, and you chose Unleash the Hounds when you already had an answer to it.
I mean, you 4-went an 8/8 rush for a damage.
That's just.
It's kind of silly.
It's
pretty silly.
It's silly.
I'm not going to lie, Gallon. It's really silly. Well, okay, if you're pushing the 1/1 face, you know what, Gallon? You got to respect that.
But you could just hero power.
Oh, you're pushing
instead.
2-face.
I'm so confused.
The Ziliax is drawn!
Swidz, what are you? SilverName needs to win this game. He needs to win this game.
Do you know how still difficult it is for that to
There
happen?
are so many bombs in Swidz's deck.
One got
He gets
tracked
an
over.
8/8. What's going on?
The matchup is so bad for Bomb
He would
Warrior.
have had 2 of them in his hand.
Gallon is
He
very
would have been
upset.
able to go 8/8 into an 8/8. SilverName was dead! Ah, and he's still dead!
He's super dead.
He's just so dead! Does that save him?
7, 8, 9. So, take it -5 from current point. So he'll go to 7 after the attacks.
Oh, my head hurts, and not in the good way. You got one play.
I don't know. Like, this actually prevents more damage, I think.
But you know about the Unleash the Beast.
Yeah.
You know about the Unleash the Beast.
You're right. You're right.
This protects 2 damage. Dr. Boom Mad Genius protects. Oh, that's lethal.
Sometimes. Huffer Unleash the Beast, 8, 9, 10.
Huffer is not
Nope,
lethal.
It's not.
It's only. Nah, it's just not lethal.
Yeah, not even close.
So you just Unleash the Beast hero power. Okay.
It's 1 damage off. Two damage off, excuse me.
Does Swidz have a Warpath left?
Nope.
Or SilverName?
Nope.
You
How many
just hit
bombs
face
are
with
left?
a Wrench Caliber face. Come on. Come on.
How many bombs
Let's go,
are
SilverName,
left?
for Mother Russia.
Look at Swidz!
Please.
Look at Swidz!
Bomb.
Bomb! Second bomb!
Oh, no. All the things are green.
Third bomb!
Third bomb.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
You gotta tighten up that play. That
we gotta give credit where credit is due. Submitting mid-range hunter this week was a fantastic choice by Swidz.
so the game outside the game is the important measure in the match.
It's very important.
He gets a super favorable either way you slice it against SilverName in game number 3. Swidz has got to tighten up that play.
Just
SilverName played pretty fantastically on his side.
Honestly, even the one turn that I had a question about, I think he actually nailed it and I did not.
I agree.
Was the Brawl Dynamatic turn.
I think that was sick.
I think it was sick.
It was so smart.
He pretty much found his outs at every single point. He was 1 bomb draw away from winning that game. There had to have been at least 1 bomb left at a certain point. Like, he had 4 cards.
I don't know what the Zul'jin tracked over.
You have no idea, but let's just say there was at least 1, right? There was a 25% to win the game.
There had to be,
which
right? It's just more exciting
There
that
had
way.
to have been.
The fact that Swidz was so nervous after the wrench caliber tells me there probably was.
Yeah.
Swidz is ready for an interview. Swidz, can you hear us?
Yes, perfectly.
A very close call in this match. How nervous were you going into that final turn of this match?
Yeah, it was super stress for me because I know there is only one. My last card was Deadly Shot, and it was only bomb after.
So were there 3 bombs in your deck at that point?
There's only only 3 bomb. Only I just.
It was
yeah,
75%? What?
Yeah, I draw.
That's insane. Okay, anyways, back to the topic at hand. How did you decide on mid-range hunter this week?
So mid-range hunter was I pick a mid-range hunter because it's decent. It's a decent deck against shaman. It's favorable for hunter and warrior. So I pick hunter because I know both opponents play warrior and shaman, so I just pick mid-range hunter. And also it's decent against priest. It's a bad matchup, but you can win. I mean, the game I play against priest, if I had because I had yen, so if I coin yen into something, it's really hard for the priest to
To come
win.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, to come back. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so at 5-7 record now, your second half of your season has been much better than the first. Why do you think that changed?
Because I think I just play more and more and use more my try hard more when I prac. Because sometimes when you prac, you are not really focused and you don't learn a lot. So just better training. Better training. Better training. Yeah.
I think that's an excellent answer for it. SilverName, it's looking great for you. Keep it up because you got 2 more matches left, and they're big ones for you. Congratulations on your win, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.
Bye.
Quality over quantity. I think that applies really nicely in Hearthstone, where
Yes.
it doesn't matter about the number of games; it's what you learn from them that matters. So
Honestly, one of the biggest players I've seen that from too is Amnesiac, one of the America's Grandmasters. He has always been a big proponent of playing better practice is much better than volume of practice, because there was a number of years when he was dominant in competition where he wasn't playing a ton of games. It's that the games he was playing were very intense and very purposefully thought out.
yeah, and I just want to bring this up because there's this concept in Hearthstone called comfort picks and comfort decks, where people say, "Oh, yeah, this is a deck that I know well. I don't really understand these other ones, so I just had to settle on this maybe suboptimal lineup." And at a certain level of competition, you got to get out of that mindset. You have to explore the decks that you don't understand very well. You have to get better at them because you might be missing something crucial in terms of win rate and just overall game plan.
That being said, I am a believer in specialties.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Definitely agree with that. I think there's a lot of things that go on in a matchup that are hidden unless you have a ton of reps sometimes.